Update thoughts. Overall, I think this update is one of the better ones we've had. Love the new operation, new modifiers, new heroics, cosmetics, but with the paid content, chapter, and champion pack, I can't help but feel like it was lazy. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't really feel the same way. I think the Blood Angel Tactical Champion is one of the coolest champions I've seen, for sure. Not to mention, yes, it is definitely comparable, in my opinion, to how cool the Dark Angel Bulwark is. But I do think the Salamander Chapter Pack definitely, obviously I've said this before, but it definitely needed at least one more piece of equipment. But with all that said, I mean, the new cosmetics we got with patch 11, like the free cosmetics, technically free, the accolade rewards, those look very cool. Like, seriously, I've had a hard time not using my accolades on cosmetics. I did at least get one piece of cosmetic because it was super cool looking. But yeah, I'm only one weapon away from getting all of the heroic weapons. And my personal opinion so far, since I tried pretty much all the heroic weapons through the PTS and through patch 11, I think they're great, to be completely honest. I think they're all really good. I think, honestly, though, I'm starting to fall out of love with the Heavy Bolter. Maybe the Heavy Bolter can get a damage buff or something, because I just think it's pretty hard to use that as a Heavy Bolter. I mean, it is definitely doing what the devs intended as far as the side grade. I think that's fine. But yeah, the heavy bolt pistol, to me, actually is starting to grow on me, which is pretty interesting. So, I don't know. Regardless, I really like the new waves of heroics and cosmetics. And yeah, I'm still like a tad bit disappointed in Salamanders. But ultimately, they did bring in some of the coolest cosmetics we've had in the game so far. But yeah, let's continue. That's the only word I can think of it. Blood Angels get a chainsword skin only, and the champion armor doesn't change colors very well. Yeah, that's true. It has like a certain tint, right? But on the Salamander side, no weapon skins or chest piece, not counting the sniper because that came almost a year ago. Actually, fair point about the weapon skins. Yeah, you would think we would have gotten like a Pyroblaster weapon skin or something. Yeah, that's a fair point. I do think the Salamander stuff that we did get looks very good, but the volume is seriously lacking in my opinion. White Scars, Space Wolves, Dark Angels all got more than this and had more successor chapters as well. I'm aware that the Salamanders don't have a lot of successors, but that would make me think that they'd even it up by making sure there was even more armor pieces and actually gave us weapon skins. I do agree. I do agree with this. Yeah, I did. Like, honestly, as far as like a ranking, if you were to compare the Salamander chapter pack to other chapter packs, from the, from the contents of it, from how much you actually get out of it, it's definitely a little bit underwhelming. But again, though, still, I really like the torch. I do like the colors that we got for the successor chapters, even though there's not a lot. But yeah, I completely understand. Yeah, we were all talking about how Salamander chapter packs felt a little bit underwhelming. Oh yeah, by the way, we are definitely going to be looking through the good and the bad from the patch here. So we're going to go from post to post, basically highlighting good and bad things about the patch. Especially since this patch costs as much as the above mentioned packs. Oh, especially since this pack cost as much as the above mentioned pack. This isn't the first time I've been disappointed with chapter packs, paying almost $15 US for stickers and 3 weapon skins for Space Wolves. Wait, what? Paying almost $15 for stickers? What stickers? Hello? But it seems like these paid cosmetics are losing significant value, and we're just supposed to smile and be happy we got anything, especially for a fan favorite chapter, is crazy to me. What do my battle brothers think? Okay, so I think that I think they have a point about the chapter pack. However, I gotta be honest. I think what we got in patch 11 that was essentially free in a sense looks very good as well. So I can't really. It doesn't hinder my enjoyment of the DLC. Sorry, it doesn't hinder my enjoyment of the patch. I guess it's DLC in a way, but yeah, the cosmetics. I think that the cosmetics we got look great. So even though we probably could have received maybe a chest piece or a weapon skin, at least the stuff we got looks cool. But not to mention, there's definitely a way the devs can just add in maybe a Salamander's weapon skin, because as you can see in the accolade reward store right now, we have a Black Templar helmet. So honestly, if you're a Salamander enjoyer and you wanted more from the chapter pack, there's definitely potential of more coming down the line. Absolutely, positively flabbergasted by the community. Looking at the new weekly stratagem, I already expected a complete cluster of a mission, prefix spore mines, the modifier, and friendly fire. I fully expected people to take advantage of the latter and become toxic, but the opposite happened. I ran the mission successfully 4 times, decided to hop onto Sniper and help others by banning Zoans and Neurothropes to the Shadow Realm with the new Sniper Rifle. Yes, that's exactly what it does. The Heroic Bolt Sniper really does make dealing with Thrope-like enemies like Zoanthropes and Neurothropes incredibly easy, and if the new weekly is a Tyranid weekly, you can definitely just do this. You can jump onto any difficulty with the Heroic Bolt Sniper and basically clear out Neurothropes for your teammates. With more tries and even on failed mission, it was never because of the friendly fire. So friendly fire was not the reason they failed missions here, which is pretty interesting. I feared for toxicity, and instead I was met with a textbook example of trigger discipline. Not only did the teammates I played with watch where they were firing at all times, one dude who took a flamethrower to the mission was even so aware that when I was forced to dodge into his fire, he immediately moved his line of fire upwards to not hit me. So kudos to y'all, and especially the fine people I play with. Even if we failed the mission, your discipline is admirable, and it was an honor fighting by your side. Okay, well, that's a pretty cool post, honestly. Every time when I see a post like this, especially considering that we may or may not, I will say, friendly fire is pretty harsh, right? I'm not too sure if it is the toughest condition, but ultimately, if you're jumping into any sort of stratagem and it's a little sweaty, it's always really nice to just give your kudos to your teammates, I guess. Not to mention, yes, this person's jumping into a potentially toxic stratagem, so he may or may not be in a position to effectively crash out. But yeah, apparently he avoided all that, which is great to see. Now, not everyone is this lucky, unfortunately. Friendly fire makes the game worse. Just had a guy throw my game and start killing everyone at the train because he felt people were stealing his executions. No, remove it. Grown man, this community cannot handle it, and it makes the game toxic by enabling the worst in the player base. Literally had to last brother carry him to the train, and he still managed to cry the mission to death. Remove it. Okay. Somebody commented underneath this saying, yeah, that's why we have kick buttons. I mean, yeah, true. Yeah, unfortunately, we're definitely going to see players like this take advantage of friendly fire because they are cowards who cannot take responsibility for their own gameplay. So, yeah, that's the best way they can effectively, I guess, blow off some steam. But still, if you can, hopefully, you can see that from a mile away. But yeah, I am genuinely not looking forward to some of the clips we are going to get of players trying to, decipher if it was a toxic friendly fire situation or an accidental friendly fire situation. Shout out to the devs for adding a different sound for unblockable attacks. Title. Yeah, dude, this was huge. This was definitely a huge change in the patch that I'm definitely very happy about. I remember in the PTS, it definitely felt a little bit harsh, the unblockable attack sound, but I think once you get used to it, it's actually one of the best indicators of unblockable attacks. It's even better than the orange tint, in my opinion, especially considering something like Siege Mode, where there's a lot of visual pollution. I do think something like a distinctive sound effect goes very far. So yes, this was a big W change here. This was a good change, and I'm very glad the devs put this one out. For the love of the Emperor, stop joining absolute missions to power level. You are a detriment to your squad and provide no help at all. Stop it. All right, so the devs did not change anything when it comes to higher difficulty matchmaking. Now, for Absolute specifically, you do need to beat Lethal before you jump into Absolute, so that's at least something. I wish they did the same thing with Stratagems and Siege Mode, I guess, but yeah, to me, unfortunately, this is definitely going to be a bad part of the patch. The fact that we've seen nothing to help us avoid low-level players in higher difficulties is definitely unfortunate. And to be honest, when it comes to criticizing the bad things in this patch, if you compare it to past patches, whether it is Spore Mine Apocalypse, whether it is broken parries, whether it was, the headshots being bugged on Chaos Spawn, which they fixed, which is great, or whether it is hardcore connection issues. We've had patches in the past where they had to immediately, hotfix something, or, at least hotfix something in a week. So, in my opinion, it's pretty nice to see that some of the biggest problems from this patch isn't something that the devs need to rush to hotfix, which is great, as far as I know. This is definitely why we make these videos, to see how you guys are experiencing the patch and everything like that. Yeah, let me know the good and the bad for patch 11 for you guys. But for me, I'm actually kind of happy, in a sense, that this patch didn't deliver anything that was game breaking, which is great. I have seen some reports about people talking about, like, the power axe, the blocking power axe doesn't work for overcharge for the assault, which is, unfortunate. But the fact that the devs actually made progress with fixing the assault is a good thing. I'm not going to put the assault changes in good or bad. I think this is more of a remain to be seen situation, but obviously the devs not doing anything to help out, weeding out the low levels from higher difficulties, that's definitely a negative in the patch, in my opinion. However, it's not that bad. It's not as worse as broken hitboxes or broken parries. I was running an Iron Warrior setup and my teammates cheered for the Emperor, and I refused and was immediately beamed in the face. God, I love this community. All right, I guess there is some good parts about friendly fire. Yeah, dude, I guess it leaves us some room for role-playing, which is great. Some lore-accurate friendly fire. I like to see it, dude. I like to see it. I have only recently developed the confidence to try hard stratagems, having fully maxed my 4 favorite classes and their weapons. Great way to approach hard stratagems. Yeah, they are definitely doing that correctly. Making sure you don't have, like, a main is important because of class nerfs and everything like that. But yeah, they went even further. They have 4 fully leveled classes for hard stratagems. Great way to approach that. Despite always tailoring my perks and kit to the stage of modifiers, I'm always nervous my skills aren't quite up to snuff. And yet, it's never taken me more than 2 to 3 tries to complete a hard stratagem. This game is full of incredibly talented and super positive players. I've seen some of you out there so amazing at delivering the Emperor's Wrath. I would have thought we had hundreds of Malum Katos among us. Sure, I get the occasional crash out, but by and large, it's been an incredible experience playing with you all for the Emperor. Yes, this is a great comment. I think it is night and day with the community. When it was in patch 10, we were seeing a lot of, low levels players not reading conditions, players not clearing mortal wounds. There was a lot of new players, and I feel like a lot of new players are starting to catch up, which is great. So yeah, when we're jumping into patch 11, you're running into some great players. You still have an issue with low levels and stuff here and there, but it's not as bad as patch 10 in my opinion. So also, when it comes to the hard stratagem with the weekly recently with friendly fire and spore mines, yeah, honestly, dude, the players that I was queuing up with, they were great. It really only took me 1 try for normal and 1 try for hard, which is honestly pretty cool. And I will admit that when it comes to, the hard stratagems right now, we definitely have some pretty difficult conditions. We're getting more spore mines, we're getting friendly fire, permadeath, all of that. But we are also going to have passive healing, and we're also going to have 10 stims. There's also, obviously there are also stratagems that are just straight up buffing the enemy's health, which is maybe that might not be the best condition, but okay. We also have a condition where you can handshake for a full heal. So it's pretty interesting. Honestly, hard stratagems, when it comes to the good and the bad of patch 11, I think a lot of this still is remain to be seen, but I really like how many options we have for dailies and for conditions. There's just a lot. There is a lot of different combinations we can get for conditions that I think can be good and bad. So hard stratagems, I think, are still there's good parts about hard stratagems now. like being more support conditions, but then there's some hard stuff about, there's some bad stuff about hard stratagems where it's like, yeah, players taking advantage of friendly fire. But yeah, honestly, when it comes to the good and the bad of the patch, I definitely think there's more good than bad. This was like the first time we've had a patch that didn't have like a game-breaking bug in it that the devs needed to hotfix immediately. So honestly, that is huge, and I'm definitely more optimistic that we're gonna see more stable patches in the future. As far as the bad, yeah, we have the heroic bolt sniper nerf. That is unfortunate, and of course the Salamander chapter pack wasn't. I feel like the Salamander chapter pack wasn't as fleshed out as the other chapter packs. That's definitely a fair criticism, 100%. But honestly, I'm having so much fun with the new heroics, I really don't even think about it. Not to mention the other cosmetics that we got for accolade rewards are also very cool. So I wouldn't be surprised if the devs add in a Salamander Pyroblaster skin at one point in accolade rewards or something. Gotta keep in mind, we also have a Black Templar helmet in the accolade reward store, so they can definitely add in chapter specific cosmetics to accolade rewards, which is great. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'm definitely looking forward to future patches, more weapons and everything. But I gotta admit, I think patch 11, at least for me, patch 11 is one of the most fun patches I've had with the game so far. And it definitely does go it goes a far way that we don't have to deal with like a broken parry situation or a spore mine apocalypse or whatever. Even the spore mine condition felt pretty balanced in my opinion. But yeah, overall, I'm enjoying patch 11. That is the good and the bad of patch 11. I'm still a little bit disappointed that we didn't get a level filter for hard mode stratagems. But it is what it is. We're just going to have to deal with the bad while we enjoy the good. It is what it is. But also, today is Thanksgiving, so I wanted to give a special shout out to you guys. I am very thankful for the community we have built over the years, and everyone in the comments section, whether they are criticizing the game or whether they are sharing their experience, or whether you guys are debating something in the comments, everyone has been very respectful, or at least 99% of you guys have been very respectful, and I am very thankful for the community we have here. I'm also thankful for the guys in the comments who even know more than me about this game, and honestly, it's definitely great to be able to fact check some of this stuff with a great community that is also concerned with the game as much as I am. So overall, just a big W for you guys in the comments, and definitely let me know in the comments how you guys have been experiencing patch 11, your good and your bad. And thanks for watching, guys.